Let me say a hearty good Tuesday morning to our viewers. This morning, those of you via GBN TV, good morning and welcome to another edition of To The Point. It's Tuesday, the 30th day of May 2023. Also, our listeners, K105 listeners, whether you're listening K105.5, K105.9, good morning and welcome to another edition of To The Point for today. Our social media audience also, whether you're viewing the Facebook page, the YouTube channels, good morning, welcome. Let me apologize for a couple of days last week. I know I was off at, that stuff that was going around, trying to, ambush me a little bit, but was able to fight them off and back up and running. Maybe not 100%, but good enough to be here this morning. It's Opposition Tuesday, and with me this morning, we have Senator Norland Cox with me this morning. Let me say good morning to the Senator. Good morning. If I can still call you Senator Norland Cox. Right?
Yeah, correct. That's correct.
Good morning to you, sir. Good morning and welcome. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you, GTN. It's a pleasure to be here on GBN To The Point and all your listeners through all your mediums. It's always a pleasure to be here on GBN, to have that opportunity to engage with you and also to bring information to the public and also to get a feedback from them as well. I think that is critical. You guys play a critical role, and I'm happy to be part of that process.
All right. I want to thank you for being here this morning, and once again, let me send out my condolences to you, get the entire management staff, and I know there are lots of folks over there who still expressing their condolences to you, and certainly hope all is well with you, sir.
Well, thank you very much for that, and it's a significant loss for myself and our family, and we have had a outpouring of support from persons here in the mainland, Carriacou, Martinique, overseas, throughout the diaspora. We have great support. We still continue to get calls, persons calling to see how we're checking on us, to see how we are doing. The party, the political leader, everybody really give us significant support during that difficult period for us. It's a healing process, as you would know. So we are very, very thankful for that. I too want to take the opportunity to extend my condolences to the GBN family here as well.
Thank you.
You had your loss of your general manager, who I know also. We used to have conversations on and off as well. So it's been a difficult time for everybody.
Yes.
But we are happy that we can continue to move forward with friends and support from family.
All right. As we move on this morning, we're going to get into the conversation this morning. As I usually kick it off when I do have members of the New National Party being the opposition party, I want to know, you are certainly to know to be the rep for Carriacou, or the caretaker for Carriacou right now, if I can put it in that context.
Well, we are not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet.
From a party standpoint. What I'm doing now, I've given a commitment to the party to lead the political work for Carriacou and Martinique. The party has done a lot for Carriacou and Martinique, and I think there is enough for us to give back wherever we can, and that is one of the things that I'm doing right now, giving that support from a political standpoint for the party to support Carriacou and Martinique.
All right. Now, you given that support in Carriacou, tell us what is happening inside of Carriacou. I'm assuming you've been spending a lot of time up there lately. Tell us is there any issue that we need to know about in terms of you being up there and sending back information to the party, letting them know what is going on, or you would like to just express any concerns inside of the Sister Isle?
Definitely. There are two main issues that which I'm very, very passionate about, and which I personally strongly condemn. And I would hope that in some way that the government can remedy those in the interest of the people who have been affected. And the first one has to do with the Dumfries housing development project.
What's happening there?
Well, previously, the previous parliamentary rep would have issued units to about 90 or so persons, 90 plus persons throughout Carriacou and Martinique, who went through an application process, who were assessed based on the criteria that was set, and they were given an opportunity to get a unit. Persons, you understand the feeling of being able to have a place called your home, and to only to find out that when you have a change of government, someone now is coming and saying that, there was some issue with the process or something of the sort, and then you have to now reapply. And my concern is that there is clear that a policy, there is a policy that was mentioned on national TV that we only looking after our own, And that is my concern, that persons who are deserving and may not have voted for this present government will not get that home because they're going to take it back and give it to somebody else. So we are against that strongly. We think that is wrong. The persons are deserving of the I've seen the list, I've seen the names, and there is a wide array of persons of different category, different strata, financially and otherwise. So what it does, it will create a stable opportunity, a stable environment for that area, for that development. And so it's not just one person of a particular type of income that is staying there. So I know persons have concerns about that. But I believe that that is not something that they should have done. They made a promise to build houses, gradient-style houses for Carriacouans, Piedimonticans, and Gradients alike. And so if you are going to build houses, why take back from people who have already been given an opportunity, who have already probably made investment, starting to buy furniture and trying to get ready to move into their units, only to find out now that though they would not be getting those units, they have to reapply. And it doesn't guarantee that they're going to get it back.
So is there any remedy for this situation as it stands right now in terms of the reapplication? Are these people given any guarantee that they will be able to reacquire the homes?
No guarantees. There are no guarantees. I'm quite certain that some persons are not going to, if they continue to pursue this policy, some persons are not going to get the units as initially promised to them, and that is what will happen. And so we are very strong against that. It's not right. It is not right to do people that. You don't do people like that. I mean, just put yourself in their position. Any one of us, put yourself in that position where you know you've been trying to get a place for your family, and then you only to find out that it's gonna be stripped away from you because of some process. It doesn't have anything to do with the criteria. If the person meets the criteria, just leave them alone. And if there are other persons who need homes, you can build more homes for them. And I think that is the correct thing to do. Just leave the persons who are there and build more homes for those who are in need.
All right. That's understandably so. You were stating there were two concerns you
yes.
Be spending
well, this one is really very passionate. I'm very passionate. The second one has to do with the whole issue of the firing persons and sending persons home, persons who work like 12 years, 18 years, as much as 18 years. You just send them home because you believe that they have not supported you from a political standpoint. We do not subscribe to that. We do not support that. We do not believe that what we see is that people having great comfort in knowing that persons are taken off the breadline, their livelihood are taken away from them. Those are things that we do not support, and we speak strongly against that, and we'd like for it to stop. But we believe that it's going to continue, but so we have to speak against it.
Have you ever had conversation with those individuals, you be the of course, individual or there now who's looking after things just in case for the United decides to have you be the person who's going to be taking care of that particular constituency? Have you ever had conversation with this person in terms of how they feel in terms of what happened?
Of course. I mean, we reached out to persons who have been affected. As a matter of fact, we are doing things to see how we can help those. We have been calling around, looking for jobs for those persons who have lost their jobs. In some cases, we have been helping successfully placing some of them. Some persons looking to start a business, and we trying to find support for them. Either it's a bill, a shop, or something of the sort. So we have been doing what we can to help those persons. And so those are some of the issues that we believe that we just need to bring to the fore at this point in time. All right.
We due for a break, so Cox. We're coming right back after the breaks. We still have loads more to talk about. It's To The Point for today, Tuesday, the 30th day of May. We're coming right back. Stay with us.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Piedimontic?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
On Saturday, July 29, Montrouge Plainfield will be transformed into a sea of grills as food, fun, and friends collide. It's the 10th annual Maggie King of the Grill competition. The best chef and barbecue kings and queens compete for cash, a new grill, and the title of Maggie King of the Grill. Come savor the flavors. Try to bust the ice cold bar and let the kids have their way in the Bunsen Castles, Pony Rock.
This is why I say welcome back once again to our listeners and viewers this morning. Welcome back to another edition of To The Point for today, Tuesday, the 30th day of May. Mr. Cox, welcome back.
Thank you.
Mr. Cox, in the previous administration, the NMP, the ministry you were part of was part of the infrastructure and so forth. Now there's a lot of talk about infrastructure in Grenada, the issues that are plaguing it. What are some of these the concerns that you may have with the new national party, I would say, being opposition party, in terms of infrastructure? We know there's the Norland project and so forth. We know there's some issues surrounding that. Tell us a bit.
Well, regarding the Molyneux landslip in particular, I think that project is probably one of the single most important projects for this country at this point in time. In the context of having it implemented successfully, so that we can traverse the Western Corridor as normal, and to ease up places like Montmaurice that are severely impacted on a daily basis. So we are very much concerned about that project in the context that we know that the project is experiencing significant challenges right now. And one of the reasons for that is that because of, maybe because of political reasons or so, the consultant that we had on that project.
Because I was going to ask you this, because folks, when the new national party was in power and that project was supposed to be, I know this was one of the projects that you were so into to make sure get started before the last election. How far advanced was the new national party in terms of getting that project off the ground before the last election?
Well, what I can tell you that as far as advanced, the contract was already signed. The contractor would have already mobilized, because the contractor is from St. Lucia.
Yes.
So they were on island. So basically, they were putting things to go, ready to go. So that is how far we have gotten. Designs, everything, the tendering process, all the procurement procedures, all that were completed. So the problem, we had several meetings with the community as well. We presented the designs to them. We had the engineers spoke to them. So all that was completed. It was just for the contractor to be allowed to do his work.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we're hearing some of the issues that they're having now in terms of the feasibility study and stuff like that was not properly done and all of that. Could you
that is false. That is false. Now, what happened when the government came into power? The consulting firm that we have, who did work with all the designs and who was managing or supervising the project, they were removed from the project. All right, they were written and asked to remove from the project. So they were basically fired. Now, they didn't understand what that meant. No, you take away the key person who is going to help, is going to be guiding the contractor to implement the project. The company who actually prepared the designs, you ask them to leave. So what happened is that they now rely on the engineers in the Ministry of Infrastructure to do the supervision, and that is where everything went wrong. If you notice, there is significant excavation on the slope. Those excavations were not to ever happen. All right, that was not to happen. The slope, because of the slope, the unsteadiness of the slope, there was a particular type a technique that was going to be applied to stable the slope, using what they call geotextile wrapping. I'm going to all the technical stuff, but that was not to happen. So they started cutting, and the slope became more unstable. And so that is the challenge of the project. The project has significant cost overruns right now. But what we've learned recently, they have now asked the consultant to come back.
All right.
So, sometimes we hear people talking about they go and they take out a photo and they're talking about implementation. It's not about implementation, it's about management. If you cannot manage, you won't be able to implement. And so we understand that the consultant has been asked to come back to see if they can arrest the mess that is there, and to see if they can get this project back in order. But I'm telling you, there's going to have some significant cost overruns. I'm not sure if they have crunchy numbers as yet, but it's going to cost us much more. And so when you hear people talking about implementation, that is also part, managing and being prudent with the government funds.
That's interesting to find out. But from your information, would that consultant be returning anytime soon?
Yeah, they'll be returning. They'll be returning. I don't know if it's as a result of the change in the Minister for Infrastructure, but the consultant will return.
Well, that's a plus. I mean, it's a road network that we
no, because what would have happened is that that consulting company, they would have employed a number of experts throughout the world.
Okay.
Some of the best persons, best geologists, best engineers to come and work on this project to implement it, because it's a highly technical project, and hence the reason why we had this firm employed to do so. But I guess as much when you're coming and you're looking for witch hunting and corruption and all kind of stuff, and then you put all your projects on hold for 3-4 months doing investigation and all kind of foolishness, then you find yourself in problems. And that is where we come to the whole issue of the Western Corridor now. Now, you have a project that is time sensitive, like the implementation of the UKCF project.
Yeah.
And you come into government, you need to find out where these projects are. You put everything on hold, only to find 3-4 months holding those projects up is a lot of time. Remember, you have meetings every week with the bank. Every week with the bank, you have to be reporting, giving updates, weekly updates, to see where you are, what is going on, what movements you make. You have to be doing that on a weekly basis. And so what would have happened, they found themselves, by stalling everything, they set themselves back. And then when the meeting came with the UKCF people and the CDB, they made a suggestion, a recommendation that they will pull the funds.
Yes.
You didn't fight for the funds. They didn't fight for the funds. I believe that one of the reasons, and we hear pronouncement on TV that, NNP lost the funds, they lost the water project, they lost the Western Corridor. Then we're hearing now the project is back on stream. Now, what would have happened is that I'm quite certain that the bank and also the UKCF contingent, they were not happy with the media coverage that was being meted out as regards to the project. And I think they look for some way to pull back some of those funds. And there is a suggestion that they would have put forward in terms of implementing the Nawasa project, the Nawasa component of the project, and what they have, what the implementation people don't understand. Those projects, there are so much processes. While there was approval for the project in earnest in 2016, the question begs, when was the funds available? What took place from the time the funds was available to up to 2022?
Yes.
And I think that is the question that needs to be answered. There are a number of processes. There are a number of feasibility studies that were done. Designs were already prepared. So when you hear we said there's this talk about we failed to implement the project, those are false. I can tell you for both the Nawasa component of the project and both the Western Corridor project, contractors were had to be replaced. The first proposal that was done under the UK SIF in terms of the design for the sewage and water upgrade, it was not approved by the bank. You have to get a new contractor. So you have to start all over again. And so
that's going to be one of the reasons for delay.
Those are the intricacies of this project. Mm-hmm. We had a situation where we contracted a contractor to do, with the approval of the bank, of course, to do the Western Corridor. The Western Corridor is 15 kilometers. He prepared a report for only 11 kilometers. And he didn't want to do for the rest. And so we end up at a stalemate. And he was creating some issues for us. And we asked the bank for permission to terminate his contract because he wanted to go to arbitration. When you go to arbitration, there are 3, 4 months, 6 months, 7 months. You're in arbitration discussing. So we had to terminate and hire a new contractor. So those are the intricacies of projects of this nature. And so when I hear people talking about low implementation and no implementation, some of the persons who are speaking, they have not implemented a single project in government as yet. So until you implement a project, then I believe you have an authority, you could maybe say something. But you haven't implemented a project yet in government. Every project that you're going to cut the ribbon for, we did all the legwork for those. The Monkuma Road, that road was done in response to the Molinier slippage. So we did that road quickly to help with the traffic, the flow of the traffic, and that is how we operate. So we know how to do projects. We know how to implement projects. And if I could list more than 20 projects that we have implemented successfully, and some of it is still ongoing. The traffic light project, and I said I had also called GBN to correct them because there was an interview where I think the reporter indicated that the project started in November of 2022. The contract for the traffic light project was signed in June of 2021. In June of 2021, we did feasibility study. You think those infrastructure, the lighting infrastructure, you think we went and purchased those off the shelf? Those will have to be manufactured to specification for Grenada. I hear they talking about they putting a new feature with cameras. You think you could run cameras if preparations weren't making the ground for cameras? All those were done. Preparations are also made for red light cameras. You know those cameras that will take you out and take your number plate out. So yes. There is infrastructure there for that going forward. So when I hear persons who have not implemented a single thing yet in government talking about implementation, I mean, I just smile because they don't have a clue what is taking place and don't understand how these things work. And they haven't really managed any government project yet to understand the intricacies and dealing with international organizations and the processes. They don't know. So maybe if they had asked for an opportunity to have a sit down with us, I could have probably updated them on that. Right. But right. I'm telling you, and just quickly, GT, just quickly list brief some of them projects that we have. Mm-hmm. The airport project, significant project. So we started that project, and you see it's moving because we know what we're doing. We have the health center that they just opened in St. Mark's. When I went there a couple of years ago with the parliamentary rep, and she showed me what is taking place, and with the discussion we decided, look, this building have to come down, we have to build a new health center. And we have done that. The Guave, the polyclinic in Guave, the hospital, the significant work we have done at the hospital. Do you know that we have, we're doing dialysis right here in Grenada? We did those. Those are significant developments. And so when they talk about we haven't done anything in health, and I don't want to start on health today because I could strip it right down. But I just speaking from my infrastructure standpoint, we have done significant improvement, the laboratory, the accident and emergency. I mean, you name it. We have done so much. The Simon Cultural Center. My colleague would have dealt with that some time back, but I'm telling you, the St. John's River project, significant project. So until I'm saying to those persons, before you go and take out a picture, implement something first, and then we could have a conversation.
Well, but let's talk around that. The present administration has done a lot of infrastructure work. What's your take on that?
Current infrastructure work? No?
Yeah.
Well, let me go back to the words of the IMF head in her report. And two things stand out. One, she said that current growth are underpinned by the foundation of the fiscal policies that was done in the past, previously. And those were fiscal policies that the new National Party government put in place. Okay. So because of our fiscal management, hence the reason why we have growth now. Those were her words. And the second thing that she indicated, that there's going to be a slowdown in the economic growth. And the reason for that is as a result of reduced public sector investment. So I say no more. Right. So if there is a reduction in public sector investment, how could this government be doing more? I didn't say that. Those were not my words. Those were the words, the assessment of the professionals. So I say this in the context that I don't know everything that is being done now. All the projects are projects that we would have started, and they just basic. Some of it they have stopped. So I don't know. I am kind of lost with that.
All right. I want to just try back on a statement you made earlier when we talk about the UKC fund. We recently heard the Honourable Prime Minister stating, of course, to get back some of those monies. How do you feel about that?
I think that is a very good thing on behalf of the UKC team and the people of the United Kingdom to at least give us back some of those grant funding. I think, as I said, because of the public utterances, it kind of put them in a bad spot too as well. And also, the Nawasa project was far advanced. So when I hear about no implementation and is when you don't understand what is going on, you could come and say anything. And so the project was far advanced. And if you could recall, I when persons were asking about work being done on the Grandance Roadway, I was always indicating that we cannot and would not do any work on the Grandance Roadway because of that major Nawasa project that we have to do that will cause the road to be dug up, to lay all those pipes to upgrade the sewer, to upgrade all the water system. Hence the reason why there
was no major work done on the Grandance.
No, and that was the reason why we didn't want to do it. You don't want to go and invest all this money and then the road have to be dug up again because we knew that this project was coming.
All right.
And so that project is something that we discussed significantly in terms of it being able to address the water shortages, the low pressure, especially for the people on Guanca Hill in the south. That was a real issue. And this project will address all that. And so I'm happy that we were able to get that component back. But we lost a significant one, which is the Western Corridor. So,
all right. Yeah. We're due for a break again, Mr. Cox. Let's take that break, folks. We're coming right back. It's To The Point for today, Tuesday the 30th. We still did a lot in this segment. We're coming back. Also, we will invite in your phone calls for you viewers and listeners out there. You do have a question or two you'd like to ask Mr. Cox, feel free to do so. We do come back. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Rock the box, we say, yeah. GBN, we say, arts and culture living, yeah. Rock the box, we say. I'm telling you, rock the box, rock the box, rock the box, we say. I'm telling you, rock the box, rock the box, rock the box, we say. We'll be jamming here on a Thursday. It's a
Saturday, July 29, Montrouge Plainfield will be transformed into a sea of grills as food, fun, and friends collide. It's the 10th annual Maggie King of the Grill competition. The best chef and barbecue kings and queens compete for cash, a new grill, and the title of Maggie King of the Grill. Come savor the flavors. Try to bust the ice cold bar and let the kids have their way in the bouncing castles, pony rides, slides, and games. Try your hand at dominoes or the beer and leg competition and win instant cash. Come 7 p.m. you go stateside to enjoy performances from top local acts. It's a whole evening of fun at the Maggie King of the Grill, Saturday, July 29 at the Montrouge Plainfield. Gates open from 12 noon. $10 get you on the inside. Powered by Maggie, Hot 98, and GBN Television.
Welcome back to our listeners and viewers. Welcome back to The Point this morning. It's Opposition Tuesday. I have Senator Norland Cox with me this morning. And we're going to take some phone calls. Surely there are listeners and viewers of it who have a question or two they may like to ask Senator Cox. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, good morning and you're welcome. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. And how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Go right ahead with your contribution, please.
Right. Morning, Mr. Cox.
Good morning.
All right. Mr. Cox, you know what they call, you know Molinier, isn't it? You say you know Molinier. You know Shenda? Eh? You know Mong Doctor, Mr. Cox? Mr. Cox?
Go right ahead with your
Go ahead. All right. You know Mong Doctor. If you know that piece of road in Mong Doctor, when that piece of road they go down, right, and they say it couldn't work, and they couldn't do nothing to it, and they had all problems. Then the NDC people and that Tillman and them did that road, and the past Prime Minister tell people not to pass it because they go lose their life. Go and watch that piece of road now. And everybody passing it. You're talking about the piece of road in Molyneux, where the land go down. They have a suction. And go to Mr. Bowen, and he could tell you that. They have a suction. And you have to know how to put it on. If you don't know how to put it on, you're going to have a problem. All what was keeping up the place, they cut it on. They put that big heavy house on top of it and put tractor on top of it. And then you're thinking, don't get on like that, Mr. Cox. You must know what you're saying because there are people outside here who have sense. They have sense. And I tell you already, stop bamboozling to Indian people as a big man. You understand? You say you're more than them teach you not to lie. But that is what you're doing to Indians. Stop lying to Indians. Stop it. Speak the truth and nothing but the truth. The truth shall set you free in everything you do. You understand? Have a good day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution. I'm not sure if there's a response.
Well, all I can say is, if the caller believes that I'm lying, I challenge him to tell me, to bring evidence to show that the consultant wasn't fired from the job. Yeah, and to show that the work that has been done now is far different from what was desired to implement it. So I don't want to go in the back and forth with that, but he feels that way strongly about it. But what we're speaking is just the facts.
All right. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome. Good morning to you, caller.
Mr. Telesford, good morning, and how are you?
Go right ahead with your contribution, please.
Right. Mr. Cox, you should stop that. Why you lying so much, man? You don't know what you talking about. You know about the Molyneux project? You don't know. So shut up and stop lying. You're too damn big for that.
All right, thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. 435-2041, 435-2041. Let's entertain another caller, folks. And folks, let's go ahead with the call segment this morning. If you do have a question or two that you would like to ask, please free to ask a question.
I think it's important that I qualify. I was a Minister for Infrastructure, October of 2020 until general elections in 2022. So I think that gives me enough authority to speak on those projects, and I had to report on them at various levels, even several meetings with UKC. So, of course, I know about Molyneux project. So, if anybody else have any concerns or so, just putting it out there to let them know that I have the competencies to speak on this project.
All right, caller, good morning, welcome.
Hello, good morning, and Senator Cox, good morning as well. Hello, you hearing me?
Yes, we hear.
Yes, I'd like to compliment you, and I ask you to stay strong. I know you're passing on your wife. I ask you to hold on and stay strong, you and your family. I'm impressed with you, especially when you outline that 20 projects, yes, and the foundation that the NNP that have, set up, and regardless who like it or not, but it's facts and the evidence is plain. So I just want you to continue the good work, especially with the people from Carriacou listening to you, especially, those people that got done for the housing and it was lost, and the fine of the workers and fine of all workers in Grenada. I just asking you to be strong and be with the party and continue the good work, because let me tell you something. The truth set free, and continue outlining the projects, and I know that will set you and the NNP free in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution there this morning. We take more of your calls. 20 minutes moving out before the top of the hour. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome. Good morning to you, caller. Caller, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you and to your guests. And again, my sincere condolences to you and your name. It's Cox on the passing of your wife. I know it takes a while. Grieving has its process and its time, and I want to wish you all the best and God's strength as you move ahead with your young family. A couple of things about the project. First of all, is there any truth to the saying that crisis at Molinaire started because there was a failure, a regulatory failure that allowed a construction to take place where it ought not to have taken place, and that the project was originally stopped, but it was overridden by somebody higher up who gave the green light, and this has contributed greatly to that major national crisis we have there. The matter of the project and the delays, I'm scratching my head. If you have a consultant, and a consultant doesn't operate from the seat of his pants, there must be a plan of what will be done, how you propose to do it. That's why you got a consultancy. Could it be that this person didn't leave a blueprint of what was supposed to be done, or those who came did not read it? Because I don't see how you come in a new consultant and you have no clue of what the other person was intending to do. It baffles me. Now, on the matter of the jobs, I have to ask you the same question I asked one of your colleagues a couple of weeks ago. We know I hate to see people lose their jobs, and I don't believe in nepotism. I don't believe in it. But when we hear of even the houses, I don't agree that because houses were assigned, that the assignment should be kept. It could be that there are people there, and you probably may know, who didn't get, who deserve more than those who got. And sometimes there is a need for a realignment. And the question I'm going to ask you, the folks who are getting the houses now, are they aliens from another planet? The persons who are getting the jobs that were lost, and it pains me to know that folks are losing their livelihoods. But are they being replaced by aliens? Are they replaced by people from the same constituency? Are the houses not taken by the people? Some of them are the same ones who were getting before, and others probably, hopefully I'm saying, are more deserving probably. That's why they got it. So we have to be very careful when we talk about people losing jobs, people losing this, as though we're losing them to somebody from another planet or another country. But in actual fact, sometimes all that's happening is a realignment, because we know both sides. There's a lot of nepotism, and there's politics, and people get things because of politics, and they're losing because of politics. As we say, easy come, easy go. So let's be realistic here. I know you. And I think you know where I'm coming from. Let's be honest and let's be fair. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution there.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the caller for those three pertinent questions. And I'll probably start with the last one first. And while, yes, in every political cycle, there are political jobs that are going to be lost. We understand that. But what we are speaking about is way beyond that. It's way beyond politics. It's much more personal than anything else. And the question you ask, where does it end? And that's the question I would ask. Does it make sense that every time we have a political cycle that we move people out of the houses because we believe that they got the houses and they shouldn't get it because they deserve it? Should we move those persons if government will change 5 years from now? Should we move those persons out of the houses and put in new persons? I don't think that makes any sense. I think government have a responsibility to provide for citizens. And government have made a promise that they're going to build 500 grade and style houses. All we are saying is that if there are other persons who are deserving as well, just build houses for them. Why take away from somebody and give it to somebody else because it's your friend or your political ally? It just doesn't add up. And I think that I cannot agree with that. I would not agree with that. And the same thing goes with the job. It just doesn't make any sense. You have a situation where persons were relieved from the job with claims that they were seen jumping up in political rally or whatsoever. But you hire the same person who jump up with the winning party. So where does it end? What sense does it make? So I would not support that suggestion, and I think that is wrong, and wrong is wrong in that case, and I think that there is a better way to deal with that. So as regards to that, as regards to the whole issue of the consultancy, when you hire a consultant, you look for past experiences. They would have to present information in that regard. You would also do your own personal vetting. You would call around if they work in different countries, different persons. You call around to see what is going on, how they would perform. And in those cases with those projects, the bank also has a role in terms of approving those consultants. It doesn't mean that the person themselves is not competent, but sometimes with every project, issues come up. And some persons have different challenges. And so those things happen. Those are projects are dynamic, and you just have to prepare for those issues. As regards to the Molyneux issue and this regulatory issue regarding a house, I heard talk about that. And persons that asked me questions about it, I am not too au fait with what transpired previously. But what I can tell is that we would have done a study to find out what was the reason for the slippage, and those findings were presented to the community, Molyneux community, via a community meeting. The engineer was there, and the three main causative factors stems from one. The area is a gravel vein area. That area, just that valley area, is mainly gravel, and what would have happened from continuous geological actions like, say, earthquake, tremors, and heavy downpour with a lot of water seepage. There's water running under. That would have had continuous movement, steady movements of the slope. And with the increase in traffic, as we have seen in Grenada, a lot of vehicles, more impact on the road on a daily basis. That in itself exacerbated the weaknesses of that area that led to the slippage. Those were the findings from the professionals. They didn't have anything to do with any particular project development or so. So I really don't have any information on that. But somebody did mention to me some time back about some house that was built and whether or not that what contributed. But from our studies that were done, those were the findings.
Okay.
And it's there for persons to review as well. So if persons believe that I'm telling like the documents are there, the reports are there for persons to read and to make themselves acquainted with it.
All right. Let's take another caller before we get to take a break. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome.
Yes, good morning to one and all, especially to you, Senator Cox, my condolences to you and your passing of your wife and to your family. I just have a statement to make. I'm listening to this program, and first of all, let me just say this, especially to the moderator. And normally, I just listen to the point. And when I hear in certain statements, if you might not be taken on that person's side, but I think the callers must have some respect to, when they call in a program, present your issues and stop belittling people. You don't have an issue, don't call the program. And to disrespect the person, the person who is being interviewed. You come with your issue, you ask your question, and then you can make a relevant statement with respect. And I think when they are going off, you need to be correcting them, disciplining them, or cut them off. Your program has to be a program of a standard and respect, and not people just calling and just disrespecting it because it's not for you. That doesn't make any sense. That is not we are Grenadians. We Grenadians, we are not like that. Yeah, so you might not support the person politically, but I think you should have some respect when you're calling a program like that. You have to have some standard and some respect. Thank you, guys. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Cox. We drew for a break. Let's take it. We come back with our final segment of the show.
Your vision. We believe this new virus spreads mostly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when someone who is sick coughs or sneezes. This is similar to how flu and other respiratory illnesses spread. These droplets can land in the mouth or nose of people nearby, or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. Most person-to-person spread happens when people are in close contact. It's also possible that this virus can spread when someone touches a contaminated surface and then touches the mouth, nose, or eyes.
I will say welcome back. Yes, viewers, listeners, good morning and welcome back to another edition of To The Point. We're still accepting some of your calls, just about maybe have time to accept maybe one or two more calls, and then we come and summarize today's program. Let's take this caller. Caller, good morning, welcome. Good morning to you, caller. What's up with the caller this morning? Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Go right ahead with your contribution, please. Go right ahead with your contribution, please, caller.
Mr. Cox, do you know of anything that is going on in the police force that the person, someone made a case with since about 2018, and they have yet to get any satisfaction or call? They have to constantly go into the police station and they are not getting satisfaction. What steps should a person take? Should they go to the Prime Minister who's in land security, or constantly have to go up the hill to deal with the situation, with the case? Could you shed some light on that for me, please?
Not sure what the caller is speaking.
I think they indicated there's some outstanding matter with the police, and they're just trying to get some hearing. So, yeah.
I'm not sure we could give an evaluation of that. That's left up to the police part of things. Let's take one more caller. Caller, good morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Morning to you and morning to your guests and the listening public. one of the things I would like to ask Mr. Cox, a matter of fact, I want to make a point first, that I appreciate to hear him saying that the government should not be functioning in that manner. In other words, selecting their supporters alone, supporting the supporters and giving them like the houses, the jobs, and so. So I really appreciate to hear that from Mr. Cox, but I want to ask him, if this is something new, if it's first time that you hear that or you see that happening, and if it is because he did not have the balls to talk about it before. Thank you.
Thank you, Kola. Thank you for your contribution.
Well, thank you very much, Kola. I think I should start by saying that, look, the current list, the current persons who were selected for the Dumfries Housing Project, clearly I could look at the list, and I've seen the list, and there are persons there who are not supporters of the National Party, and there are persons there who are not supporters of the National Democratic Congress. So that list is balanced. And I'm saying that within the context that certain critical services ought not to, there are certain things that you just don't go beyond political lines. You just don't. And whether or not that was done previously, those are things that will happen. And the fact of the matter is, it is something that falls squarely within the remit of my community, and I'm speaking about it. And if there are other issues that be a similar nature, I would speak about it, and that is how it is. Let me say this. Let me just say one thing. I recall at the cabinet level, and the chairman of the cabinet, he used to always say to members of the cabinet, he said, colleagues, when we hiring people, we ought not to hire to whether or not the person are politically sympathetic to us, but make sure we get the right person for the job. Because why? When we do that and we get success, you get the praise, you get the credit. And so those were his utterances. And so I am not saying that persons may have done differently. I can't say that because I don't have all the evidence. But I know that was a policy that was presented at the cabinet level and how we should approach those things. Even now, persons are saying to me that maybe Cox, you guys probably should have done it differently because some of the same people that your guys help is the same people that actually take you guys down. So it's neither here nor there. The whole issue is that when you have things to do, you want to have the right person for the right job at the right time, and it's something that you do based on what is presented, what is before you. And so I say to the caller, it's not an issue of me not recognizing that those issues are present, but it's a matter for us to address, and not just myself. He as a citizen has a responsibility to speak up to it and not to agree. It doesn't matter which side of the coin that is on the table at the time.
All right. Senator Cox, we spoke a lot this morning. We're almost getting to that stage of the morning when we have to wrap today's program up. We spoke of, the UK Safe funds. We spoke about that.
Yeah.
You spoke of the issues in Carriacou with the homes. There are some other issues that you spoke of. We spoke about the Norland project a wee bit. Anything in final you want to try before we take a wrap this morning?
Well, I wanted to basically summarize on the whole but what is really being presented in the context of how this government is operating, in the sense trying to diminish the work of the National Party by painting a couple of paints over it and then repackage it and bring it back as if it's their work. As one of the callers said before, it's what? Realignment. I smile when I hear that. It's a very diplomatic way for saying victimization and nepotism. I don't know what this realignment is about, but I also say this and I maintain the discussion around implementation. We have a track record of implementing projects throughout this country, and the record is there to be seen. And so I am not bothered about what people are talking about, because they have yet to prove otherwise. And I say it in the Parliament that the Ministry of Implementation, I believe that it was not necessary, and I stand by that. The cost that is involved in setting up and running a ministry, it was not necessary to deal with the implementation matters. What probably I think would have been a best approach is to have a strong implementation department attached under the Ministry of Infrastructure, and hence the reason why I've been hearing that the Ministry of Implementation will have several run-ins with different ministries because they are overlapping in some areas and overreaching in some areas, and so it'd be probably better place to have a strong implementation department within the Ministry of Infrastructure than to have a separate ministry in itself, because each ministry have their responsibilities, and so what you need is just a team of people to help to drive the implementation process, to make sure the procurement and so is done, and not necessarily an entire ministry or a minister per se. So I said it before, and I feel strongly about that. I think that those funds could have better used otherwise, maybe to help put the extra money on the seed for the poor folks. So that is just my personal opinion on it. Persons may disagree, but because I have an understanding of intricacies of how those things work, I don't think that is necessary to have this big ministry or so. I don't even know what they are doing. So, but I say this. But I want to say one thing. There was a press released by government recent time regarding some prospective funding from Saudi Arabia, and those funds were to target Civil Grandance Beach and the Carnage. But I want to put it on record here today that project, the Smart City, St. George's Smart City project, that project was prepared under the National Party administration. Currently, the project was, the lead person on that project was my colleague, Minister Steele at the time, Minister for the Environment. He worked tirelessly with the New York University, and they put together this feasibility study and designs and concept. And the last thing that we were working towards was funding for it. So I'm happy that we have some prospective funding, not received. It has been proposed. Yes. So no funds have been received as yet. Based on what I've seen, it has been proposed, and so those things take time. It takes time. I'm not certain, based on the turnaround time for those things. I'm not certain if that they may happen in this election cycle. I'm not certain. Right. Those things take time.
All right. Yeah. Senator Cox, I want to thank you once again for being with us this morning. Pleasure to have you as always.
It's a pleasure.
Hope we could have you back sooner.
Definitely. Probably after today, I may have to come back because a few people might be have some different opinions on the social media aspect, so you never know. I just may have to come back to further clarify a few things. Yeah.
Well, you certainly will be welcome.
I look forward to it.
All right.
It's a pleasure to be here, GT.
As always.
And thank you to the persons who called. Whether or not they were in disagreement with me, I think I still want to express the gratitude for taking the phone and calling to express how they feel. Yeah? While even though we disagree.
All right. Hey, folks, that's what we take a wrap for To The Point for today. Join us again for another edition. I'll be tomorrow once the Almighty permits, health, strength, and everything else in between. I'll be back to take care of another edition for you. Be good to yourself, and always, as I always say, have yourself a great day, folks, and goodbye. Join us again.